Oh, what's going on here? Hi guys. Welcome to another video from the Parrott Bros. I'm Dom, and today I'm going to be talking you through why I picked the bucket seats why I picked the harnesses, why you may want a steering wheel with a boss that detaches, because if you've ever tried getting out of a TT when someone's parked closely to you and you can't fully open your door, you have to put the window down, then sort of climb out head first, and it's quite a performance. So if you can imagine, with bucket seats and you've got to try and climb over this side shoulder as well, you may want to reconsider before buying certain things. So before we get stuck into why I got this set up, let's jump to that intro. All right, we'll do some safety stuff first. Now, as a rule, you don't want to fit harnesses unless you have a roll cage. Now, there's a load of reasons, but the main reason I heard, and this I can understand because it seems plausible and a safety thing, is if you have harnesses on bucket seats without a roll cage and you roll your car, the roof will come down. Now, normally, if you just have a lap belt, you'll be able to then lean forward, and the seat, obviously, if you have original seats, they'll fold, they might break back, the airbag will come out, or whatever. But you can lean over. Whereas if you imagine you're in a car and you're fixed up right, because you've got big 3-inch harnesses and nice high seats and stuff, they could be made out of fiberglass, not anything particularly strong, and you roll your car and the roof comes down, you can't go anywhere. So ideally worth having a roll cage as well. Now, as you all know, I have bought a 6-point proper bad boy roll cage, which I'm going to be fitted in the next couple of weeks. And I wanted some bucket seats, harnesses, and I've also got a steering wheel with a removable shallow boss, just to make my life easier for getting in and out. Now, we'll go on to steering wheels in a minute. We'll do bucket seats first. So I have gone for the Sparco Sprint L. I'm not 100% sure what L stands for, but we'll go with large. Now, I am a slender fella, of course, you know, with a lovely narrow side profile. So certain bucket seats won't fit me, and Bryn bought a pair of Core Brewer Club Sports, one XL, one normal. The XL one he fit in fine. The normal one he sat on top of because he physically couldn't get his derriere into them. So do bear that in mind. I mean, if you weigh 10 stone and you're a size 30 waist, you'll probably be all right in most seats. But do bear in mind all seats are different sizes. If you want to purchase some new, head over to a company like Sport Seats for You. I'll put a link down in the description. I've bought seats from there in the past, and if you can afford new, ideal. They've got a massive showroom. You can go and park your butt in every single one, have a feel, see what the difference is between fiberglass, steel framed, side mount, base mount, all the different harnesses. They'll talk you through everything. Really great place. Now, if you're looking for second hand, I would recommend sitting in them before you buy them, because obviously if you can't fit, they're going to be no good to you. Now, the two main types of seat are steel frame and fiberglass. Fiberglass, of course, are going to be lighter, but they may not be as strong. They may have a bit more flex. The steel frame stuff, heavier, but a bit stronger and a bit more rigid. There's certainly no play in these. These are steel frames. They're a little bit heavier, but they're still a lot lighter than standard seats. I will, when I fit them, get some proper weights. I bought some big scales to weigh everything as it comes out and goes in. Just out of interest more than anything, because obviously I'm not too worried about the weight of the car. Now, I managed to get these for 300 quid. George Webb, top bloke, sent me the link for them and was like, you need to buy these right now. I'm going to stay on the phone till you buy them. And I managed to get the pair of seats with TT runners. Now, he wasn't actually advertising them as with TT runners. He just said that they come out of his daily, and I got there and it was a Mark 1 TT, which was an absolute bonus, because usually seat base mounts can be between 100 and 200 quid. These are actually on sliders as well. These are Sparco mounts which go onto original sliders. Now, the only caveat with this is that they may be a little bit too high. So the different options of mounting are side mount and base mount. Now, side mount, you'll have them sort of L-shaped brackets, and they'll bolt onto your seat in the side, and then they'll bolt into the car downwards. Now, on a TT, I'll flag a picture up now. Usually the mounting bracket is just a flat piece of metal, and then you'll just drop the side mounts onto it, and the side mounts are height adjustable, so you can tip the seat forwards, backwards, drop it down, lift it up, depending on your driver. Now, that is a fixed position. So ideally set up for only one person driving, or unless you, your friends and family all are exactly the same height with the same length legs. Now these actually have runners on, so I can slide them backwards and forwards. I'm going to test fit them because it would be nicer if I have the option of the sliders, and the rails only actually add about an inch. I'm not particularly tall, so it shouldn't be too much of an issue, but we'll find out. These are side mountable if I need them to. They're currently base mounted at the moment. But if it means I don't have to spend any money on floor mounts, then it's going to save me 100 to 200 quid. I will put down in the description places where you can buy base mounts. If you've got, buy the TT mounts, if you've got side mounts or base mounts, they'll all fit the same. And that is why I went for these seats. I've gone for the slightly wider because I intend to do quite a bit of long distance driving, so I wanted something that was comfortable. Now, these are comfortable. I've sat in other people's of these before, so I know I fit. I've got a little bit of room, and they're a nice comfy seat. You can always add a bit of padding as well. Now, onto harnesses. Now, harnesses, there's loads of different types. This one is a quick release, so you just literally pull that tag and it undoes every single one, and then it stays on the base. There's different options between 2-inch, 3-inch. So this is 2-inch, this is 3-inch. Now, the only downside with having 3-inch harnesses, apart from being massive, is they kind of cut into your neck, unless you're really slim and have a really long neck and wear roll neck jumpers. It's hard to explain because I've got a beard, so you probably can't see very well. But if you imagine you're sat with your head in between these two nice holes here, your neck may be as wide as that, so you might find that the belt does rub on your neck. So quite a lot of people will opt for the 2-inch. So there'll be 3-inch at the bottom, and then they taper up to a 2-inch. You can buy them in all different brands, and they will just be a little bit nicer. That, or you can get some pads. I'm just trying to remember if I had one here. Did I have I do have a pad. This isn't quite the pad you'd want. This is my daughter's car seat one, but got a nice little penguin on it. But you'd obviously wrap that round the seatbelt, and it has a bit of foam which just then stops it from rubbing on your neck. Belts wise, you've got the option. These are 6-point, which is a little bit overkill for general track days. A 4 or 3-point would be perfectly acceptable. The different points basically just means how many belt directions it has. So normally it would be 4, so you wouldn't have the ones that go between your legs, which can be quite uncomfortable in your crotch, as you can imagine. And usually they'd be a 4-point, so you'd have 2 across and 2 down. And you have the options of whether you get this style with a quick release or you get like a normal seatbelt buckle, because these are a bit of a pain in the butt if you're in a rush to get them on, because you have to do each individual point separately, which obviously takes some time, and then it needs lots of adjusting as well. Whereas normally, if you had like a 4-point just with a seatbelt style buckle, you just kind of go pull, 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 and then click, and you're done. Whereas these are a bit more fiddly. But it depends what you want. I have had 3-inch in the past, and I really like them. I'm quite a big lad, so it's nice to be held down as best you can. These were 125 quid off eBay for the pair. Now, the reason they were cheap is because they're out of date, which means they're no longer suitable for FIA approved racing or MSA racing. So they can't be used for competitions, but they are perfectly safe for use. I mean, a seatbelt in your car lasts a lifetime, but for racing it only lasts for 5 years from the date of sale, or from the date of manufacturer. So still perfectly usable, just out of date for racing. I don't intend to do any competition racing, mainly because I'm really slow. But and I don't know how reliable the car will be for multiple times. But that is kind of the harnesses. I would recommend trying one and sitting in one, because you may find that a 4-point with 2-inch tops would be better for you. You may want the full 6-point and go full send and not worry about comfort too much. It is entirely up to you. Now, you are blessed because there is different options with colour, size. The 4-point and 6-point is what I was going to say to you. The other thing to note is, so these, I'm not going to be able to get them out now. These are to be wrapped around the roll bar at the back, because obviously I have a roll cage. It is very, very important you look online or speak to someone who knows what they're doing about how you fit these, because they have to be at the right angle. If they're at the wrong angle, the seatbelt won't work properly, and of course it is a massive safety thing. Now, these I have on my cage, I have 2 vertical bars, which are, I have bars everywhere, and they basically wrap around and then they go through this metal thing here, and they loop round, so they'll be sat like that. You can get ones with clips. Of course, I'm well prepared here. So these clips here, and you can buy eyelets, which these just clip onto. These are stitched on. You can buy them also to be fed in, and then you buy these eyelets that just wind into where you had your seatbelt bolts. So they're a special thread. These actually have them mounted. You might not be able to see that, but they have them mounted just on the side here, and they just click on like so, like that, and then that is a fixed point for the seatbelt perfection. But obviously, of course, if you're not sure what you're doing when you're fitting them, please get some advice, because safety first, yeah? But that is sort of why I went for the harnesses. Yeah, 125 quid for the pair, absolute bargain, because they're probably nearly £200 a belt new. So big saving there. So we're at what, £425, so £300 for the seats, £125 for them. And then I bought this off a fella in the TT community. Now, I'll be honest with you, I can't remember how much I paid for this. I think it was 150 quid, something like that. Now, this is a few components. So this is a Momo steering wheel with a flat bottom. Not much of a flat bottom, but a flat bottom there. Look. Quite a nice size, I'd say about 330, 320, 330, so not too small, but quite a nice one. And the depth, now this is really important, because in a TT you have an adjustable steering column, so you can bring it towards you, push it away from you, lift it up and down. But you don't want it so it's literally on your lap. You want to be able to have your arms at a nice distance. So you don't want this to sit too far forward, because then even at the furthest back setting, you're still going to be like the steering wheel's on top of you. You know, when you see people driving, it looks like they've got their chin on it. So they do this shallow boss, which bolts on. And then I've got a quick release. Now, this is because I have two obstacles. I'm going to have a door bar, which is like that, to try and climb over. I'm also going to have to try and get out of the seat. I'll probably film myself getting in and out of the car for the first few times, because it's going to be a nightmare. But basically, all you have to do with this is you press this small button on the top here, squeeze the sides, and then it allows that to pop out. And then obviously, of course, you can take your steering wheel away from the car. You have a little hook to hang it on in the car there. And then when you put the your steering wheel back on, you literally just push it on, and then it will spin till it clicks, and then it's solid again. Now, these are BG are a very, very superior quality. You don't want a cheap one, because I've seen them in the past where the bearings go loose and the steering wheel almost feels floppy on the shaft, which is dangerous, because you'll be driving along and then suddenly you have no steering. So definitely don't scrimp out on. If you're going to get a snap-off boss, get a decent one. There's BG, Driftworks ones are quite good. They're not mad money. And also the Slimline Boss just allows you to then have that extra bit of distance. Because you imagine a standard steering wheel does naturally have the deep bit for the airbag. So this is actually not far off a standard fit, which means you can push the column nice in and out, and you have a good range of movement. Now that was, we'll say this was 150. So where are we? 425. So we're at 575. So it's not a cheap setup by any means, but if you imagine these seats, if you were to buy these seats new, they're a bit grubby. I will give them a clean before we fit them, but they're not bad at all. There's no rips. You can buy little pads that Velcro on around these just to stop them getting warm where you're climbing in and out. The seat belts have Velcro anyway, so they just sort of stick like that, so they won't flop about when no one's using them. But I mean, the seats alone are about £550 for the pair, and that is without runners or anything. That just comes with the side plates. So that's £550. We're probably looking at a couple of £100 a belt. So that's £950, and then the steering wheel setup's probably about another £400. So you've saved yourself a good chunk of money, probably 65–70% on what it would cost if you were to buy it new. There's plenty of searching out there. I mean, the belts I got delivered, the seats I had to pick up from somewhere in Kent. The steering wheel I got from somewhere in Hertford. So I did quite a bit of driving around, but it still was well worthwhile. Let me know what seats you've got, or if you like bucket seats, harnesses, what colours, what sizes you'd get, because I'm always interested to know what other people's feelings are. I actually wanted black belts, only because they don't get as grubby, but the blue, of course, going in the Noggy, perfect, worked out really well, especially because it came as a pair. If you buy one, you may struggle to then buy another one. It's not ideal, but I like to have a matching. Especially with the big boy seats. If you want to come and sit in one of these to have a little feel, because you're looking at buying bucket seats, you're more than welcome to. Hopefully I'll have the Noggy back on the road before we pull it away for the winter to do the engine. Now, a couple things before we finish watching this video is the calendar is now online, and you can still send me pictures if you want to apply for that. The cut-off for sending me pictures and for voting on the pictures, obviously the quicker you get your pictures in, the more votes you may get. But voting finishes on the 12th of November, so if it's not in by then, and it's not been voted on by then, I can't do anything, I'm afraid, because I need to send them off to print. The ones with the most hearts or likes or whatever will be going into the calendar, along with a few selected ones of my favourites throughout the year, where I've been to different meets and seen different cars and all that kind of great stuff. And that's all on theparrottbros.co.uk/calendar 2022. Obviously it's calendar 2023, but it's this year, so I'm just using last year's link. But if you go on there, we'll go on to theparrottbros.co.uk in the top, calendar 2023. Go on there, have a look, vote for your favourite, even if you don't want to submit one. And if you want to order them, you can pre-order them now for delivery mid-December. Great Christmas present. I'll have them out well before Christmas, don't worry about that. And also, do not miss next week's video. I will be doing some buzz up during the week because I've got a massive video coming. I can't wait to share it with you guys. It's going to be a good one. That's all I'm saying. I'm not giving the game away, but it's going to be a good one. But yeah, guys, thanks for watching. And we'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.